Hi moms, it's Farah, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about planning. So just a high level overview of being well planned. Um, I realize I have touched on some different topics here and there, but I haven't really kind of dove into the well-planned part of well-planned working mom. So I wanted to talk about setting up a weekly schedule. And again, this is just a high-level overview. I do have a couple of courses in the works right now, so hopefully you're all excited to see those whenever those are ready. That will help you to get a little bit more in depth, but just kind of a high-level thing right now. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and apologize. You're probably gonna hear my dishwasher in the background because sometimes we have to multitask, right? So the first thing that I do, and unfortunately I can't show you my actual schedule because it's just too much, obviously, like personal information on there, but I get out my planner, and my preferred planner is a weekly planner, so I can see every day of the week set out. And then I've got, like, the way that mine is set up, I have a block for each day, and then next to it I have a running to-do list. And so what I put on each day is the non-negotiables, the things that are going to happen no matter what. So that's work, and that is the kids pick up and drop off on there. I'll put that in there. If I have a medical appointment or something like that, then I'll put that on there as well. And this is weekly. Whenever I am preparing for a year or quarter or something like that, then I have already put in things like days off from school, paid holidays, anything that happens so rarely that it's only like a monthly, it's not an every week occurrence basically. That's probably already going to be in my planner, or on a big calendar. I love having a huge at a glance calendar that I can look at, as well as my small week by week planner. So I do put in all of those non-negotiables. I put them in there in order by time. I put in like trash or bin day, recycling day, things like that. Those will always repeat. I think I've touched on this before, but sometimes I will put bills in there, and sometimes, like some years, I've put bills in my regular planner. Sometimes I've put bills in their own separate planner, like an expense tracker or something like that. So that's totally optional, however you would like to do that, if you want a reminder of your bills or not. Yeah, we'll just leave that one there. So that does help me visually to see what's going on. One thing that is fun for me is whenever I'm writing these things down, sometimes I will color code them. Sometimes I'll put, red for school events or green for work related things, that kind of thing, or a different color for each person. Sometimes that's fun as well. Again, just totally optional. So I do that, and then I've been working on what is called anchors lately. So anchors are going to be items that they're going to be predictable for me, and they're going to move me closer to my life goals in general. So as an example for me, one of my anchors is recording my weekly YouTube video. So I'm literally doing that right now. So this is one of my anchors. It's one of those things that it's going to, in the long term, help me with my philanthropy effort in my life. It's going to help me with the financial aspect of my life. Hopefully it will help with things like self-confidence. It's just a plethora of things that ultimately are in my plan for my dream life. And so this is like the microscopic view of like a step that has to be taken in order for me to reach that ultimate end goal. So anchors, they can be like that, or they can be things that will help you to recharge, which is also super important. So another one may be, depending on the season, I would have a day planned where I would go out and I would check on my garden. I would spend time in my garden, or I would prune, or I would collect, the fruits and vegetables that have grown, things like that. Thankfully for me, I know for some gardeners, it's like an every single day thing whenever you're in growing season, but thankfully, the way that I do it, I don't have to look at it every single day, so that's kind of nice. But that's something that helps me to connect to myself and to nature, and it's something that I enjoy, so it refreshes my spirits. So yeah, it can be just a personal thing that, again, like, it moves you closer to your ideal self. So I encourage you to do, if you can, 3 of those things every week. 3 good anchors, no matter if you have 5 minutes to do them, or if you have, whatever, schedule an hour for yourself to do something, whatever it is that you need, and whatever you can fit into what your schedule looks like. Now, another thing that I sometimes do that you absolutely can do is scheduling connection moments and kind of social connection or family connection type of moments. So again, this is all kind of depends on the season, it depends on how the kids are feeling, things like that, but it can be nice to look up an event that might be happening over the weekend that you can take your children to, or I guess if you're in a relationship, maybe scheduling a date night, or even planning to call or text a friend, or something like that, which these are things that I think for some people, maybe this comes spontaneously and naturally, and that's great. But if you really are concerned with building your connections with people, I think it's a good idea to have them in your planner. I think it helps quite a bit. I know over the summer for me, there were a couple of times when I was like, man, I don't feel like I'm really doing anything like fun with my kids. So let me just take a look, and, whenever, if you're in a lull like that, I think it helps sometimes to just literally put it in your planner so that you don't let those moments pass you by, so that you do make memories with your children or with the ones that you love. So, yeah, you want to do non-negotiables. You want to do your anchors or your self-care or your steps that get you closer to your dream life, that type of thing. I'll just call those anchors. And you want to put in relational and connection goals if those things are not happening spontaneously for you already. If they are, that is wonderful. But again, this is just if you find yourself kind of in a lull, or you just want to make sure that, the month doesn't pass you by without doing something meaningful with your children, then that could be a good idea to put it in your planner. And then you want to review it, and you want to ask yourself, does this feel balanced to me? And that's another thing, is some weeks, if you are constantly busy and you have an opportunity or you have a choice between, here's something that could help me in my business, or here is a small slot of time when I could be renewing myself and feeling better, or connecting with my children, or whatever. Sometimes you do have to decide what matters for that week. And you can adjust on the fly if you need to, but it's always good to have like a general guideline. I know that for me, one of those things that causes the struggle or the balance challenge is whenever I have the opportunity to work overtime. There have been times when I have thought to myself, oh my goodness, I really need to work overtime. But then when I'm done with my regular shift in my job, then I'm like, I really just want to spend time with my kids. And that's okay. It's okay to change those things on the fly and adjust as your priorities adjust. So if you can already tell by looking at what you've planned out for the week that maybe that's not going to work for your energy, then, you'll want to probably either share some of your larger commitments with other people if you can get help, or, decline opportunities that while they may be good for you, they're just not good for you for that week. Again, you can always adjust. You have permission. You have to give yourself permission because you are the only one who gets to decide what fills your time. So you give yourself permission to adjust your schedule as necessary. Now, I want to make sure that I have kind of covered all of the big items. Let's see here. So yes, so those are the big items. But then there's also the mundane stuff that we don't like to talk about and we probably don't even like to do. So for instance, if you are behind on your laundry, not saying I am, what? I would never be. Are you kidding me? But if you just happen to be one of those people who has things like that, or say you need to, or you want to go take photos of something, or you want to sell some clothes to consignment, or just like, I'm just trying to think of all the most random little tasks that you may have going on, or a house project. Maybe you want to paint a wall a different color or whatever, things like that. I have a huge running to-do list that I just dump everything so that it's out of my head, so I'm not stressed out. And then those things you can plug in based on your energy levels. So I know that for me, I have at my job, I have a 15-minute break in the morning and I have a 15-minute break in the afternoon as well. So my morning 15-minute break, I'm most likely going to have much more energy than my afternoon 15-minute break. So if there's something that is particularly draining to me, and I'll be very honest, phone calls are draining to me, any kind of phone call for any reason. So that's something that probably would be wise for me to plug into my morning 15-minute break and knock that out. And then in the afternoon, maybe it would be easier for me to throw in a load of laundry or something on a break if I'm able to do something like that. So, yeah, depends. So again, just a general overview of how you may plan things, and I will go into depth on some of these things more and more. I think the anchors part is extremely important because the point of the planning and the scheduling is for you to move from where you are at to your dream life. That is the purpose and the goal of my group and every course and every resource that I'm going to add to my group. So that's something that I want to elaborate on, is those anchors. I just want you to understand right now, though, that these huge life dreams that you have, they can be accomplished 1 week at a time. You can do that little thing. For me, I want to have success on YouTube, but I have a lot of things going against me, right? I have anxiety. I could come up with a trillion excuses for not recording videos anymore. I don't always know what I want to talk about. I have, 50 billion different reasons why I could not be doing that. But the reason I continue to do it, even when I'm uncomfortable and even when I don't 100% know what I'm going to say, is because it is a stepping stone that is essential to my dream life. I want my YouTube channel to help other people so badly. I want moms who feel the way that I have felt to find my YouTube channel, to play me in the background while they're doing other things and just feel like, oh my God, she gets me and I'm going to be okay. And, additionally, of course, I want to make money on my own terms. I have an entrepreneur spirit 100%, but I have to do things to get income that are very consistent because I have children. And so someday I will be my own boss, and this is a part of that. So when you have those huge, huge life goals, you can get to the point where you break them down into such tiny, minuscule steps that you can plug one of those in each week. And you have to pace yourself. Okay, without burning out. You can do anything. Let's say that. You can do anything. But as far as, tasks, the number of tasks to not burn yourself out, you want to focus on only a certain select few areas of life at a time to focus on. So anyway, I could talk about this forever, but I am going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best, and I hope you have an amazing day.